What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls 2. Welcome to the Valley of Blighttown. Have some poison for your troubles. I just noticed something. If you look at the sconces, they have bones in them, much like the bonfires do. It's kind of interesting. Oh shit, we are already off to that kind of a start, aren't we? Okay, I really hate the false floors in this level. They get me lost really badly. I think I'm in the clear for now, though. I think I'm heading towards that corner on the left. Yeah. Yeah, there's a kind of... There we go. Scary little jump. Be a cool guy. Roll off the landing. Kill the guy with the torch. Oh, and we even get a torch for our troubles. This is a level that I'm not a really big fan of. Mostly because I had a traumatizing experience here. Oh, that ladder leading up, one sec. Oh, really like the way that looks. That ladder leads up to a door that is locked that we do not have the key for yet. And we will not be getting the key for a very long time. The key is actually in the next level, but you have to defeat two very strong enemies in order to get it, and I'm not prepared to do that right now. I think right behind me in the center of the floor back there might be another false floor. I tried my best to bypass a couple of these enemies up here. Should be another ladder. Yeah. I have to be very careful because I'm not sure which one of these floors is going to give way. Anyway, I really hate this level because I had a traumatizing experience. Now, keep in mind when I say, oh yeah, it's like it's Blighttown 2.0 or the Valley of Defilement 3.0. Most people hate those two levels. But you have to keep in mind, I love the Valley of Defilement. I love the Valley of Defilement a lot. And I had, like, frame rate aside, I had no problem with Blighttown. I didn't mind it at all. So when I say I hate this level, it's for a very particular reason. Mostly one reason. Now, the path straight through, as you're seeing now, the path straight through this level is not all that complicated. I was afraid of this. Oh, shit. Okay, at least I blocked that. The exploding hollows are a little bit annoying. Having to fight them on a smallish platform is even worse, though. Especially when you have to fight them with the dog. Yeah, the path straight through this level, which we're on now, the critical path through, is not very complicated. But if you fuck up one time, and this is what I've been worrying about with all the false floors giving way, you mess up once, and you take one wrong step, you either get poisoned, sometimes you fall to your death, but that's pretty avoidable. Those are two minor inconveniences in comparison to what I went through my first time through here. What happened to me that drove me fucking insane was I fell through a roof and missed the first bonfire. And I could not find my way back up to the beginning of the level. I could not do it. Couldn't find my way out. What I eventually found out is that there's one particular wall in this area that I fell down in that you have to break down by hitting it in order to escape and move forward. I could not, for the life of me, discern what I was supposed to do. I stumbled upon it after like a half hour, totally by accident. It's not obvious either. Just ran around in circles. Ugh, frustrating as hell. One wall in this pitch black, rickety ass plywood purgatory. I don't think, like, I've already bypassed the point where that happened to me my first time through here. So I really doubt that there's going to be any even remote difficulty navigating this place, but the first time through left such a disgusting taste in my mouth that it's gonna wind up making me forever hate this level. otherwise, like, if I'm being a little bit more objective about it, it's kind of it's not a bad level at all. I want to like it, but I also really like the poison, that one poison spitting statue back there that was strung up by the neck on a noose. You always get, that's why I like the Valley of Defilement and Blighttown. You always get really good imagery out of these levels. Really dark, disturbing themes, too. Like, if you remember the third level of the Valley of Defilement, that, the Blood Swamp, where you fight Garl Vinland and Maiden Estraya, it was a bloody swamp filled with aborted babies. That's so dark and so disturbing. And you don't get anything even close to that in the rest of the game. Yeah, that's my rant about the gutter over, though. In some ways, this level is a lot like Upper Blighttown or the Valley of Defilement 1 mixed with the crushing darkness of the Tomb of Giants, but there isn't anything that's too dangerous here. There are lots of minor annoyances, like all the poison-spitting statues, all 7,000 of them. You can destroy them, you can also roll through them, and you can also kind of, if you're just close enough, you can cause them to trigger prematurely. The only other really kind of annoying thing here are the exploding hollows, but they can be blocked. You just have to make sure that you don't get caught unaware by them, because if they explode and you're at a bad angle, they'll send you careening off into your death. But there's nothing here that's even close to as bad as, for instance, the toxic blow dart snipers, or the poison swamp, or the respawning mosquitoes of Blighttown in the valley. There's nothing as bad as the giant beast skeletons from the Tomb of Giants. The pitfalls aren't as severe, plus you get a torch in Dark Souls 2, which is a much more common commodity, as opposed to light sources in Dark Souls 1, where you either had to buy cast light, or you had to stumble your way onto a skull lantern, or a sunlight maggot. Here you're just given torches, but you do have to sacrifice your offhand weapon, or your shield, or catalyst, or whatever you have. I do really like that trade-off, though. Trading absolute security in the form of, you know, physical defense of a shield or something. You're sacrificing and trading that for comfort, that degree of security that comes with being able to see where you're going. Lights you up. And let's see, I think I should be heading across this way. There are a couple... Ooh. Okay, I got him before he could explode. There are a couple of alternative pathways you can take here. I think one of the pathways leads to an invasion by... I want to say it's the same Black Phantom NPC who invades you in the... at the bottom of Blighttown by the bonfire. I want to call her Executioner Meralda, but that's, Meralda's from Demon Souls. I can't remember her name. Yeah, I think you do get invaded somewhere along one of these alternate pathways. I'm not going to go straying too far off the beaten path. But there are a couple of things I want to grab and a couple of things I want to show off. One of them being right here. And then the other one I think is closer to the second bonfire. So anything in... No. Smash the pots, receive no rupees. Bullshit. Now in this chest... Yes! Let us take a look at that. The Wicked Eye Greatshield. The true origin of the shield is unknown. No amount of polishing can clear its face of the mysterious handprints. It's covered in bloody handprints. This was one of the shields that was implemented in the game as a result of yet another one of FromSoft's shield design contests. It was one of the community-chosen shield designs. It's one of the coolest designs of any shield in pretty much the entire series. Unfortunately, the shield itself is not that good, so I'm not going to use it. That's the biggest tragedy of it all. Is I would love to use that thing because it is friggin' wicked looking, but nope. This jump over here, which I think you have to make, I don't think there's another way around to get to the area I'm trying to get to. That jump kind of scares me a little bit, but just gonna have to go for it. Be brave. Hopefully... Oh! I never noticed this was back here. This makes this a lot less scary. And I somehow didn't get hit by any of the poison statues. I think, I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think if you are terribly unlucky, you can get hit by the globs of poison mid-air, like mid-jump as you're crossing that gap. I think you can get hit by one of the poison loogies and get hit out of mid-air and fall to your death. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. You might have just enough invincibility while you're jumping for that to not happen. I believe, yeah, here's one wall that you have to destroy to move forward. There's probably another way into this one, actually. I'll go downstairs in just a minute. First, though, you see that blue cloud in the background? Well, that's what I'm gonna head towards. But first of all... Let's see. I should probably destroy this... Oh, well, statues didn't trigger. Or at least I didn't hear them. Or see them. Oh, I heard the splash in the background. Okay, we'll fight the dog. Make sure that he's not going to pose a problem or anything. Ouch. Ooh. That's not good. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I handled that pretty poorly. There's a delay now when you go to put your shield up. I waited too long to try to put my shield up to block his that extremely quick swipe attack. It's a really, really stupid mistake. So... Oh wait, I'm right here anyway. I was gonna say I'm gonna cut ahead real quick, but... since I'm right here at the bonfire, might as well just keep it smooth and continuous. You know that story I was telling about why I hate this level? The way I got lost here the first time? It's reminding me of something that happened to me in Ni no Kuni, which left a similarly awful taste in my mouth and really tainted my experience with Ni no Kuni. There's a level in Ni no Kuni called Glimmering Grotto, and something similar happened to me in Glimmering Grotto that caused me to stop playing Ni no Kuni for a year. I got stuck really hard there because I died to the boss of that level and I had to run back through the dungeon. But the first time you go through the dungeon, you use a fireball to melt an icicle on the ceiling, and that creates a bridge to the other side of the dungeon. That icicle melts or something as soon as you cross over. So once I died and started back at the beginning of the dungeon, I had no way to get back across because the icicle doesn't respawn and it isn't there to act as a bridge anymore. So after like an hour of trying to find out how to progress, I accidentally found that there's an illusory wall in the grotto in case this exact situation happens. Like, they couldn't just put the fucking icicle back. They have to force you to spend an hour hoping you stumble upon this false wall that you had no idea even existed. And that's the even shittier thing about that in that game, is that you have no idea that there are false walls like that in this dungeon. You just have to blindly stumble upon them. I think these little mini beetles, we'll see bigger versions of them later in the game. I don't think these ones have the same property or the same attack that the other ones do. Some of the beetles later in the game will spew corrosive mist out, much like our friend the non-hostile Ant Queen is doing. If you spend too long in that blue mist that she's shooting out of her butt, all of your stuff will break. It is corrosive, which is, it's a weird way of color coding it, because anytime else, like any other time in the game that you see corrosive mist or you see corrosive acid, it's always this kind of gross orange color, this dirty orange. So for it to be blue there is a little bit confusing. The Ant Queen is likely an experiment of Duke Aldea, who is the brother to King Vendrick. And as you could see, the Ant Queen is not hostile. Even if you attack her, she will not attack you back. And you also can't interact with her. She doesn't really say anything. And then to boot, I don't think she drops anything particularly exciting if you kill her, so I left her alive. I'm gonna return to this area, maybe in the bonus episode if I remember, once I purchase an item called the Ring of Whispers. And I'm gonna see if I can talk to the Ant Queen, because I haven't tried to do that yet. There are some enemies who, if you equip the Ring of Whispers, or not enemies, but some NPCs that if you equip the Ring of Whispers, you can actually converse with them, where normally you wouldn't be able to. And the other function of the Ring of Whispers is that it will alert you to hidden enemies nearby, because you'll hear this demonic whispering in the background whenever enemies are close. Also, if you destroy these, they look like fleshy vases. They will explode with corrosive acid, which, once again, is orange-colored, and not blue like the mist from the ant. Oh, maybe Aldea wasn't, he didn't have his color coding down when he experimented on the Ant Queen. So before I go through all those vases, I'm gonna take all my shit off, because I would really rather not have all my stuff broken. Okay, now we can make our way down, drop down. This, I believe, is our first over here. Yes, that's our first fragrant branch of yore. And what fragrant branches of yore do is they remove the petrification status. And you're going to notice that there are petrified enemies throughout, enemies and NPCs throughout the world. You will use this to free them. Yeah. No good lore tidbits there. But with that done, we're out of the gutter. And out of the poison frying pan into the poison fire, because the Black Gulch is like one long hallway with a couple of small branches. It's a pretty tiny level. It's one long hallway filled with nothing but poison statues lining either side. So before I forget, why don't I actually put my equipment back on? Yeah, I'll stick with the Hade sword for now. Later on, I'm going to switch to one of my favorite weapons. One of the weapons with my favorite moveset has switched over to the Great Sword later. But for now, while I sort through putting all my stuff back on, much like how the Valley of Defilement and Blighttown were places where the unwanted, the sick, and especially the dead were tossed and discarded, the gutter and the Black Gulch are kind of similar in that regard. Now I'm going to add to that a little bit more information about Vendrick and what happened long, long ago. The reason why the Giants invaded Drang Lake is because King Vendrick stole something from them. I think that's already been established. If not, it's not exactly a big spoiler. And what he stole is not ever explicitly stated. That's never explicitly revealed. There are a few possibilities, though, which seem especially likely. Although it's hard to tell because some of it might depend on whether or not Drang Lake is or isn't Lordran, and we can't be sure of that either way. So these guys are totally like souped up wall masters. So there are two likely items, I think, that King Vendrick could have stolen from the Giants that could have caused them to cross the sea and wage a war. Somehow he could have gotten his hands on the First Flame or something very closely related to the First Flame. The other, which I'm kind of starting to lean towards, is that he might have stolen the Lord Vessel, which contained the Lord's souls. Or he might have just stolen the Lord's souls themselves. Keep that in mind for later. There is a reason why I'm choosing to bring that up right here. Don't be too close to the tar pits. When they emerge, they will grab you. I think they will usually kill you, if not straight up kill you. They'll come pretty close. Also, I believe you can light those tar pits on fire. Also, I think they might build up your poison while you're standing in them, so be careful. Everything is poisonous here. You have like 30 statues shooting poison at us. I totally forgot to put my rings back on. Yeah, I'll go with Silver Serpent. Sure, Blue Seal, a little bit of extra health. Anything else? Oh, Ring of Blades. Yeah, I'll put that on instead of Silver Serpent. These guys, they don't really do anything. They can attack? Is that it? Yeah, that's their attack. The other thing these eels will do is they'll retract into their holes and try to shoot out. They tempt you to run in front and try to bypass them and then knock you over the ledge there. The ledge, I think it's the ledge right in front of the first eel. You'll actually survive being knocked off because there's a ledge right beneath that you can fall into, and there's another locked door. If you remember the very beginning of the gutter, right by the first bonfire, there was a ladder leading up to a door that I said was locked with a key that we will not have access to for a little while. Well, the ledge directly to the right of us, beneath us, there is another door like that. It's locked with that same key. And you actually get the key. Here's the door. You actually get the key if you make a couple of more drops and fight 2 elite giants. And you'll get a glimpse of them in a moment. Just want to make sure I'm making the right leap since I don't have a torch equipped. That's the scary one. And then there is another drop off. Is it to the right or left? It's the left. Ooh, I'm glad I was actually right about that. Wasn't feeling too confident. As you follow this hallway, it leads out into a gigantic cavern. And in that cavern are 2 enormous enemies who will one-shot me. I do not feel confident enough to fight them right now, so I'm not going to do that. If you kill both of them, one of them will drop a giant soul, and The other one drops the key that you need for those 2 doors. But I'll be satisfied with that. Just trying to run past them, don't get killed. Hopefully they don't do their leaping attack. Much like the Tower of Latria, we have a cage elevator back here. So we're going to take that back up. And this will deposit us a little bit further into the Black Gulch. This is actually just past the eel area. This is another open area where a bunch of wall masters will be waiting to emerge from the pits. Not gonna worry too much about them though. Can run straight past a lot of this. Especially since... oh, whoops. I knew I was gonna get poisoned anyway. That's fine, that's why I bought all that poison moss. Plus, we've been picking up a little bit of poison moss while we've been down here, so it's fine. Gonna try to take the wall masters one at a time. Come on, come back to me. I don't want to trigger your friend who's waiting in the other tar pit. You really gonna just sit there? Thank you for acknowledging my existence, Wallmaster Senpai. I hope Wallmaster Senpai notices me today. Okay, I was wrong. The pit on the right did not have one. It's the one on the left. That's why, because I can't... the beginning of the level is on the right. The boss fog is to the left. I had my directions backwards. That's why I was thinking this guy would be in the other pit. Actually, kind of lucky I didn't get grabbed. Okay. Oh, yeah, and by the way, these guys are really, really good to farm if you want a couple of large Titanite shards. Also, don't miss this hidden pathway on the right. It conceals a bonfire which is much, much, much closer to the boss fog than the one in the beginning of the level. If you miss this bonfire and you get killed by the boss, then you have to run through all those poison statues, the eels, and the wall masters to get back to the boss. Now here is where I am going to go ahead and take off my shield, because that's going to be useless in this fight. I'm going to put the greatsword on, which has one of my favorite movesets in the game, and make sure that I am able to wield it effectively. I'm going into this boss fight basically naked. It's my pants and my sword versus the world. Let's see, roll through that one? Yeah. Alright, now I'm gonna buff up, and time for the first great boss of the game. Alright, so first time I made 2 really critical mistakes in a row. You can't afford to make two mistakes in a row with this boss. One was just mistiming a roll, and then the other one was I got kind of desperate and panicked and tried to chug an Estus to get my health back up before he could attack me again, which is what led to my death. So the Rotten is a boss that I'm kind of in love with. I've kind of fallen in love with this boss's design. He's fucking awesome looking. It's a bunch of agonized prisoners fused into this writhing body. Oops. Okay, this time I'm gonna not panic and screw up. Dodge the grab. He's kind of like the prisoner hordes from Demon Souls. Those giant balls of prisoners from the first level of the Tower of Latria. Actually, they're in the swamp in Latria too, I forgot about that. It's like the prisoner hordes. Oop, get There, mixed with Dirty Colossus and Adjudicator. It's also a really fun fight. Just gotta roll through everything. Oh, yeah, I got a little bit lucky there. Because I didn't leave myself enough stamina to dodge a third hit if he was doing one of his 3-hit combos. There's gonna be a 3-hit, though. And I will have enough stamina to attack. That time, though, I didn't want to risk it, so... Oh, shit. That was just me not hitting the button in time. It's a bad reaction. Yeah, he really has become one of my favorite bosses in the series. I've heard over and over that this is one of the easier bosses, but I honestly think that he is at least on par with Manus. Of 30-something bosses in the game, I think the Rotten was one of only 2 to give me a hard time when I was learning the fight. Like I said, he's like a combination of Dirty Colossus and Adjudicator with the learning curve of Manus. Now, I've beaten the Rotten and embraced my first great soul of the playthrough, but we are not done here. I am going to head back real quick and make some preparations, and then, well, you'll see. See you in just a second. Alright, so we just fought the Rotten, but remember, I did say that there's a specific reason that I chose the Bonfire Ascetic as my starting gift. We are finally going to burn that Bonfire Ascetic. And what Bonfire Ascetics do, what is done cannot be undone. What an ominous message. What Bonfire Ascetics do is they make areas harder when you burn them. They raise things to New Game Plus difficulty, essentially. And they also respawn all loot and enemies, including bosses. It's very important to note, though, that even though they have their New Game Plus stats, enemies, you don't get New Game Plus enemies, and you don't, the fights don't change. Like, for example, the Lost Sinner in New Game Plus, when you fight him in New Game Plus, you fight her with 2 Black Man and Pyromancers. If you use a Bonfire Ascetic to respawn that boss, she has her New Game Plus stats, but not... The fight itself is not the New Game Plus version of the fight. The other thing that Bonfire Ascetics affect is drop rates and drops. Oh shit, that's one attack that we didn't see the first time we fought the Rotten. Call it his Temper Tantrum, which can almost one-shot me. Yeah, there are items that are only dropped in New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, but you can get those items by using Bonfire Ascetics. And that's exactly why I'm fighting the Rotten after having burned a Bonfire Ascetic. Because the Rotten, in addition to dropping his soul once again, is going to drop an additional soul. Very special one. But, let's see. I want to make sure I'm avoiding that. So let's talk about the way this boss fight works a little bit. First of all, it's not safe to block. Stamina is way too precious and he eats through it too fast, so he'll just about two-shot me. So you have to really dodge him. His room is dotted with these burning pits, which messes with your mobility a little bit and forces you to really be aware of your position in the room. And he has quite a lot of moves. He's a really wide moveset. And all of his moves require slightly different timings to roll through. And that's what I mean when I say he's like Manus. He has a lot of moves that all require different reactions. So you have to bang your head against him and learn them all cold. And then the moment you've learned all of his attacks, the fight is smooth as butter, just like Manus. So the fight requires a lot of spatial awareness, a lot of dodging, a lot of knowledge of which move he's using and what timing is required to dodge, and it requires really good stamina management too. why don't we go and check out what all of this effort was for? Why did we actually go and use the bonfire ascetic to respawn the Rotten and fight him twice? What did we get out of that? The old dead one's soul. So before we check that out, let's check out the description on the soul of the Rotten. The Rotten embraces all in his sanctuary for all things unwanted or tossed away. This once magnificent soul continues to exert influence over the land even after the eons have reduced it to these remnants. The soul of the old dead one is what is left over of the Lord Soul of Gravelord Nito, first of the dead. That is a really, really big deal. Also, a little bit further into this chamber, we find some more sublime bone dust. I'll talk more about the significance of the fact that the Rotten drops the soul of Nito in New Game Plus, and what that might mean. I'll talk more about that next time, because we've been going for at least a half hour now. And boy, do I have a lot to say about this. I didn't just get this for lore purposes, but there are some pretty big lore implications. I actually got this so I can craft an item with that soul, so I can craft the Crypt Black Sword. Anyway, that is our first primal bonfire rekindled, the first of 4. We're going to be going after another one, using that fragrant branch of yore to open up a new pathway. Next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy, have a good one. I look forward to talking about this soul next time.